there's a variety of different types of liability that exist for business owners. There's two main types of liability we have to be concerned with. One is inside-out liability. That's the liability that occurs inside of a business ecosystem or inside of something that you own. If we're talking about a business, it's like a slip and fall in the business. If we were talking about real estate, it could be a slip and fall inside of the property. That's a risk event that occurs inside of where your wealth is being created. Now, we traditionally protect and safeguard that by the use of an LLC as an example, a force field around that business asset. And that helps to prevent the harmed party from reaching through the business to get to your other stuff. But again, there's a lot of nuance in doing this the right way. And that's why in our ecosystem, my mentees, we spend a year together in order to help them make sure they're operating their businesses the right way. Because it's not just enough to have an LLC. That's just a piece of paper. It's pretty much worth a piece of paper's worth. It's what you do with the piece of paper, how you do actually operate your business that gives you the safeguards that are part of the LLC statutes in your respective state. But the other thing we have to be concerned about is this concept of outside-in liability. This is when you're outside in the ecosystem, the world that exists, and you're just living your life and you potentially cause harm to someone. Can they reach into your business and take your business's assets, or worse yet, take your business? That's the outside-in liability protection. We really safeguard that by having a hierarchical ownership structure. We leverage the concepts of holding companies and operating companies on purpose. Why? Because we can leverage a holding company in a very asset protection friendly state, like let's say Wyoming as an example. And the operating company could be situated in any other state, even if it's not necessarily an asset protection friendly state. That's where the operations are taking place, so we form the operating company in that respective state. What we know to be true is that litigation occurs where commerce takes place, because that's where you're exposed to the public. Commerce is the buying and or selling of goods and or services with the public. So an operating company, we safeguard that and separate it from all of the other wealth that you have. The worst situation is that is what you lose. You don't lose everything else.